Good morning and welcome to this glorious day. We're so glad to have everybody here. We have lots and lots of people in the online pews and lots of people here present. We're greeting a new season and it's really good, I think, to gather together again. So welcome. We worship here today on the Nahantic and Mohegan lands. These people were the caregivers of the land on which we worship. We honor and pay respect to the Nahantic and Mohegan ancestors and their lineage who today uphold traditional practices, art, and education. So let's join our voices together to start the morning. Please rise in spirit and in body as you are able to sing our opening hymn, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple," and we'll sing it 2 times through. "'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, be in the valley of love and delight, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, turning, turning, we come round right. It's a beautiful old hymn. And as we do every week, we take time to greet each other. And first, I'd like to invite any guests or newcomers this morning to please raise their hand or indicate good morning. I can't see you, but I know you're there. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you, and welcome. And welcome, everyone. Let's turn and welcome our online pew congregation. Great. And now I invite everyone to mingle about the sanctuary, bumping elbows as you go along. Good morning. We are so lucky this morning. We have Diane Daniels with us in the pulpit this morning. Diane is a born and bred Detroiter, a current resident of Norwich, and has found refuge and inspiration in Unitarian Universalism for more than 20 years. She's a member, I believe, and a longtime leader in our Norwich sister congregation. She's also, this is fabulous news for her and our faith, a May 2022 graduate of Star King School for the Ministry. Welcome. And Diane is going to help us light our chalice and our peace candle this morning while we speak the words on the screen. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope is hallowed by our presence together. Thank you. There's so many reasons to light our peace candle today, and we'll be holding a lot of the world's weight in our service, I think, today, as well as joy. But we would be remiss to not celebrate Rosh Hashanah. The year 5783 begins at sundown on Sunday, September 25th tonight, and ends at nightfall on Tuesday, September 27th. Thank you, Daniel. Last week I was watching from the online pews, and I know we were vamping for a bit. Are there children gathered? Okay, so children are not yet, but I see them coming, so this is good. I have to say it was fun online to hear. You couldn't quite see them coming in, but okay, so listen online, folks, because here they come. Good morning, friends. Come on in. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Yay. Fall is such a homecoming, right? I love to see the kids all back. Welcome, hi. And here comes Perry, my co-storyteller. So this morning, we're going to be reading and telling the story, Henry Hikes to Fitchburg.
So, is this on? Is that better? No?
Check to see if it's turned on the bottom here.
Yeah, it is. Is it mute? Hello? There we
There
go.
we go.
All right. So sometimes you have to follow what's in your heart, and you'll see that these two bears decide a little differently what they want to do. So we'll see how it goes with Henry and his friend. So one summer day, Henry and his friend decided to go to Fitchburg to see the country. So Fitchburg is in Massachusetts, and it's a town that's outside of the city. It's kind of far from the city.
Really far.
I'll walk, said Henry. It's the fastest way to travel.
I'll work, Henry's friend said, until I have the money to buy a ticket to ride the train to Fitchburg. We'll see who gets there first. His friend waved. Enjoy your walk.
Henry walked down the road to Fitchburg. Enjoy your work, he called back.
Henry's friend filled the wood box in Mrs. Alcott's kitchen. 10 cents.
Henry hopped from rock to rock across the Sudbury River.
His friend swept out the post office. 5 cents.
Henry carved a walking stick. 25 miles to Fitchburg.
Henry's friend pulled all the weeds in Mr. Hawthorne's garden. 15 cents.
Henry put ferns and flowers in a book and pressed them.
His friend painted the fence in front of the courthouse. 10 cents.
Henry walked on stone walls.
Henry's friend moved bookcases in Mr. Emerson's study.
Henry climbed a tree, 18 miles to Fitchburg.
His friend carried water to the cows grazing on the grass in the town. 5 cents.
Henry made a raft and paddled up the Nashua River.
Henry's friend cleaned out Mrs. Thoreau's chicken house. 10 cents.
Henry crossed a swamp and found a bird's nest in the grass, 12 miles to Fitchburg.
His friend carried flour from the mill to the village baker. 20 cents.
Henry found a honey tree.
Henry's friend ran to the station to buy his ticket to Fitchburg. 90 cents.
Henry jumped into a pond, 7 miles to Fitchburg.
His friend sat on the train in a tangle of people.
Henry ate his way through a blackberry patch.
Henry's friend got off the train at Fitchburg Station just as the sun was setting.
Henry took a shortcut, 1 mile to Fitchburg.
His friend was in the moonlight when Henry arrived. The train was faster, he said.
Henry took a small pail from his pack. I know, he smiled. I stopped for blackberries. So Henry, the bear, is actually a representation of Henry David Thoreau. And Henry David Thoreau was a Unitarian Universalist like us, and he really connected with nature. How many of you connect with nature? You like to be outside, taking hikes in the woods. So Henry David Thoreau, of course he chose to walk to Fitchburg and pick blackberries because that was in his heart, always in his heart and on his mind, was being in nature and exploring nature. And he actually built a cabin in the woods, a one-room cabin, so one small room, and he lived there for 2 years and 2 months and 2 weeks. So imagine that. And he wrote a book where he wrote down about all the things that he noticed in nature there. Now, his friend, one of Henry's closest friends, was Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was also a Unitarian. And he was a minister and a preacher, and he wrote books. And so he was more into society and writing about things that were happening with people. He also appreciated the spirit of nature, but he did it differently. And he would get paid to make sermons, like Diane's going to give a sermon today. So they each had to find what was in their heart, getting to Fitchburg, but also in life. So it's important to figure out what your path is, what you enjoy most. So we are going to go enjoy ourselves in faith formation while everybody sings us out.
You shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills will break forth before you. Be shouts of joy, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. And all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Trees of the field will clap their hands. Trees of the field will clap their hands as you go out with joy. Lovely. You can hear their voices going down the hall. So now we enter the part of our service where we work to create and sustain our beloved community. One of the ways that we do that is through our sharing circles, and I'm going to ask Carol Cassidy to come up and share a little bit about sharing circles.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carol Cassidy, and I have been in sharing circles since I first came in to the church about 10 years or so ago. When I came to the church for the first time in 2011, it was my first experience with attending church. And when I came in and saw all these people, I felt very small and very alone. I wanted to meet my fellow congregants, but as an introvert, I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to go about that. The late Jean Martin convinced me I would like it here and that sharing circles would be a great way of meeting the people. When I participated in the sharing circles, I found it had some simple guidelines that made it feel very safe to express my ideas. There were no arguing, there was no rebuttals, just folks sharing thoughts on the subject chosen for that day by the trained facilitators. These topics are not usually controversial. Some folks meet in Zoom and some folks meet in person. They usually convene every other week for a specific number of weeks. There are sign-up sheets in the hall as you leave. The new groups will start about the second week in October. I really hope you'll join us. It's fun.
Thank you, Carol. Nice to think of Jean. Yeah. And so now in a moment, I'll invite you to come up to light candles of joy and concern. But first, for the people online, if you have joys or concerns that you'd like to share with the community, please type them in the chat now. And I'll ask others to refrain from commenting so that we are able to keep track of what is shared. And now I invite the congregation to come up to light candles, and Diane will greet you at the head of the line. So many needs and joys and intentions this morning. So we're going to take it slowly so that we can hold each other in our hearts and minds and prayers. So we are holding all of those who have been impacted by Hurricane Fiona, especially our siblings in Puerto Rico. Good news to share that Reverend Caitlin's surgery went very well. She's at home recovering, and please keep the healing thoughts and prayers going out to her. We also need a lot of healing thoughts and prayers and mindfulness for all of the souls and for all of us dealing with COVID. There are quite a few right now, including our choir director, Catherine Aaron, so we wish a swift recovery to everybody. We have sad news from Arlene Stoltz, who is our All Souls Faith Formation administrator. Her mother died on Friday after a long illness. So our hearts go out to Arlene and condolences. Please hold in your hearts the First Parish of Watertown, Mass, as they celebrate the installation of Reverend Sophia Lyons this morning. Reverend Carolyn will be offering the charge to Reverend Sophia. May their shared ministry be as joyful as it is powerful. And in the book that sits at our entranceway when you come in, for those who might not know about it, we have two concerns. Joyce Worden shares that, where Joyce and Paul are, but that Paul's sister died unexpectedly this past Sunday. So they're going to be headed to Tennessee on Tuesday for the funeral. Condolences, Paul. Hard news. And Lexi shares that while we resolved the immigration problems for her in-laws here, her brother-in-law in Turkey was arrested and will be in jail for 7 years over politics. Lexi, sorry. Yeah, as I said, there's a lot this morning, and there always is, right? This is why we gather. All right. Nancy Parent asks for prayers of strength and healing for Ben, who is over 60% through chemo radiation treatment. Thank you for your positive thoughts for Ben and our family. Elizabeth Bull shares that she's lighting the virtual candle of peace for her 15-year-old cat, Oliver, who has a mass in his abdominal cavity that is problematic. And he starts treatment this week. Arlene Gunlatch shares that her husband Russ has been in L&M Hospital for 4 weeks with kidney failure and having dialysis while waiting for an opening at the dialysis center. And she thanks us for our prayers and concern. Charlie Schott says recovery from back surgery is going well. So happy to hear that, Charlie. And Eleanor McClelland shares that her dear sister Michelle is going to be treated for atrial fibrillation, as well as going through a course of chemo for multiple myeloma. And she's also asking for healing thoughts. I just want to scroll just to be careful not to miss anybody. I think we've done okay. There's a delay with the online. I think we're good. So, let's hold our community in a sacred space now. In the presence of the Spirit of life, in all the ways that is known and experienced, we make space for those who are grieving, for those who are dealing with all of the ways that our bodies can provide joy, but also pain. We hold each other in a healing light. And we hold each other, this space, this town, this earth, in joy for all of the ways that we lift each other, all of the ways that life goes on, in strength and hope. May it be so. Amen. So to close this circle, we will sing, this is very appropriate. We didn't know it when we chose it the other day, but the hymn, Comfort Me. There are 3 verses: comfort, then sing, and back to comfort. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. This morning's reading is Intentions and Trust by Amy Lloyd. Today, I want to greet joy without a trace of suspicion. I want to open my eyes to the light without a blink of dread. I want to look at my past without a whisper of shame. I want to look at my future without a hint of fear. Today, I want to dance without pausing to think. I want to belly laugh without caring who hears. I want to open my arms and twirl in the sun until I fall breathless, free to be myself, full of the joy that I open to, completely letting go. without even a smudge of suspicion or a wink of hesitation. That's my intention. It's all I want. And so ends the reading.
Good morning, all souls. Good morning. Very nice to be back before you again this morning. It's been a little while. So glad to see that you are here and thriving, and to see familiar faces in the audience. When you guest preach as much as I do, you get used to seeing people that you haven't seen in a while, or maybe you've never seen before. But this coming to All Souls is kind of like coming home. So many faces I recognize in the audience. And you are my Unitarian Universalist brethren just up the street. It is so good to be with you this morning. My subject this morning, moving forward with intention. The words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. A person will worship something, have no doubt about that. We may think our tribute is paid in secret in the dark recesses of our hearts, but it will out. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and our character. Therefore, it behooves us to be careful what we worship, for what we are worshiping, we are becoming. Ralph Waldo Emerson is well known in literary and religious circles. Born in Boston, Massachusetts in 1803, he has influenced poets and writers and generations of Americans and Europeans. One of my favorite quotes of Emerson's is, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Can I get a hand up for all those who have decided to be themselves? And thank you very much. Being yourself is not something that happens by accident. It's a combination of factors, including your environment, your experiences, and your intentions. The power of intentions is one that's discussed often in our modern times and seems to be on a lot of people's lips. Trying to discern another person's intentions is challenging. It requires a level of insight and knowledge of another person that isn't always easy to achieve. Intention isn't hard to understand, but sometimes to get to the real meaning, you've got to take it deeper. Really discuss what it means when you set or speak of intention. What gives intentions power? How do you get the most from them? If you're not actively setting and using intentions, how would you even get started using them? And is there a benefit to doing so? Think of an intention as a way to set your mood and your direction. You can set an intention for an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, or a longer period in your life. Setting intentions activates your receptivity, the willingness to consider or accept new suggestions and ideas. I had a conversation on LinkedIn recently around a post written by someone who's become a friend of mine. Her name is Fran Borg-Wheeler. She's a former charity CEO, and her conversation starter was a simple sentence, but powerful. Ignorance is a strength. Now, I can hear the resistance that set up in some people immediately. But think of it this way. I agreed with Fran. I said, being open to new ideas, new ways of doing, and new solutions is a great way to expand your knowledge level and find the people who do have the right answers at the right time. Setting an intention to be open to the wisdom of others will help you move forward in whatever area of your life you're focusing on. If you don't set an intention before you start on your journey of change or enlightenment or simply better health, it's like heading out on a road trip without first checking a map and plotting your course. Now, sometimes that can be fun, but sometimes you really do want to get somewhere. You could take off on a trip with only a guess as to where you'd like to go and believe in fate or providence or whatever else you believe in to get you there. But most people don't have the courage or the time to live their lives that way. We perfectly imperfect human beings tend to do better with an intention and a direction for where we want to go. Think of your intentions as the route you want to take, whether that's in a car or simply walking through your life and your career. Instead of letting life happen to you, something that might be wonderful for a vacation, you set an intention and you put your heart and your effort into manifesting it. If you're new to setting intention, start by thinking in terms of body, mind, and spirit. An intention isn't always tangible. It's not always a physical thing you can hold on to. Sometimes it's about internal wealth, like advancing your education, or internal operations, like working up to getting at least 6 hours of sleep on a daily basis. How many of us are still working on that one? That would definitely be me. Now, you could set intentions for a physical thing, like a new pair of shoes, because that's part of our human experience, and it's how we live in our modern world. Before setting that intention, however, take a minute and check in with your body, mind, and spirit. Focus on what you're truly seeking instead of just any old thing you think you want. Those are different. You could set a specific intention, like making time to do a 30-minute aerobic workout 3 times a week, adding 25 minutes of resistance training to your existing workout twice a week, or a more broad-based intention to make time to improve your physical health. You could set an intention to save for a new car. My daughter's doing that right now. Or to be more regular with your maintenance on your existing vehicle to help it last longer. Specific intentions like creating more opportunities for calm in your life, having a successful meeting with your boss or supervisor regarding your career, getting a promotion or a new position, all those things can help you take positive action and make your intention a guiding force. Now, once you've identified the intention, and I'll caution you just a bit to just set one initially so you don't divide your focus and energy too much, you'll want to translate it into a short phrase that you can use as an affirmation or a mantra. It's a focus point, a way to consistently and constantly remind you of what you've decided to do. Ideally, start your day by repeating your mantra or intention and use it to plan your actions throughout the day. So if your intention is to move more and get more exercise to increase your heart health, you could use a mid-morning break to walk the stairs at your office, or if weather permits, get outside for a few minutes for a walk. I am so fortunate that there's a beautiful little park just a short way from my house. So when I need a break, I get away from the computer, I go out the door, and in less than 2 minutes, I'm in the park. And I can walk around it. I've already mapped it out. It's about a 1/4 mile, not a long distance, but definitely enough to give me a break from my constant computing. Put a short and focused intention on the lock screen of your cell phone, so whenever you pick it up, you're reminded of it. Now, I wouldn't set an alarm because that may feel like it's beating you up. But if it's always there to remind you this is where you want to go, that little nudge might be all you need. Your intention won't do you much good if you don't declare it to the universe. Set it, write it down, create that short, easy to repeat and say statement, and keep repeating it until you achieve it. Once you've declared your victory over that intention, have a little party, set the next one, and start again. You can choose how often you'd like to set intentions, but I'd consider doing them monthly. Habit changes are easier to make stick if you perform them over 21 to 28 days. Nicely fits inside of a month. If your intention involves changing an existing habit or creating a new one, give yourself the gift of time and focus over at least 30 days to make progress. Notice I didn't say conquer whatever it is you want to work on. What you want to do is make progress within 30 days. It took you more than 30 days to get to the point in your life where you are right now, and it might take more than 30 days to change it, but 30 days is a really good start. Design your activities so they support your monthly intention. You could even break down the monthly intention into weekly intentions that you focus on for 7 days and then go to the next step. A big goal that feels complicated when broken into smaller weekly intentions can help keep your enthusiasm and your motivation high. An example of a monthly intention could be, I will bring space and balance to my schedule to make time for the people who matter to my spirit the most. An example of supporting intentions could be, I am grateful for the time I have and I will use it wisely. I am grateful for the people who support me. I manage my time efficiently. I have time for everything important. And a connecting one, I make time for everything important. Once you've set and established an intention for a month, then backed it up with weekly intentions and action, you'll generate the success that will not only give you the life you want, but will also motivate you to reach for new goals and an even better life. 1 month will lead to 2, and soon you'll have lived an intentional year. One full of accomplishments and learning, of stretching and growing, and of reinforcing the agency you have over your own life. It really is up to you. We can feel like we're being pulled in several different directions, and many things are influencing us, but ultimately, we have the power. You have the power. Don't ever give up. Keep taking those baby steps forward until you reach the goals that you have set for yourself. Thank you for your time and attention this morning.
Thank you for that. Every member and friend of this congregation holds up the congregation by showing up, by volunteering, by keeping each other in mind, and through your financial support. For that, we are grateful. And this morning, we will not be passing the baskets during service, but we'll ask you to make your contribution as you leave the sanctuary. Or for our online friends, to your online contributions are very gratefully accepted. But let us just prepare our hearts and minds and remember all of the ways we contribute by speaking our offering words. We give to the work of all souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this our offering. Amen. So we've come towards the end of another Sunday service. So I'm going to ask you to rise in body and in spirit as you are able for our final hymn, Guide My Feet. It's a good one for wrapping today up. Lots of oomph. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Race in vain.
I invite you to reach out to the wider community beyond these walls, beyond the walls that are not quite so easy to see, the ones we erect for ourselves. The service has ended, but our work is not done. May our spirits be renewed and our purpose resolved as we meet the challenges of the week. The chalice flame is extinguished until once again ignited by the strength of our communion. And thanks to Martha Kirby Capo for those words. If you would like to, while you're still standing, I invite you to place your hand on your heart or raise your hands as is your personal practice. These closing words are from Be About the Work by Andreas Hawkins Camper. Today, I choose to be a person of intention. May I see all as it is, and may all be as I see it. May I be the one to make it as it should be. For if not me, who? If not now, when? This is answering my desire for change with the strength of my intentions. This is redeeming the challenges of the past with the grace of wisdom. This is the work I am called to do, and this is the call I answer now, to be the barrier and the bridge, to be the living embodiment of my principles, to be about the work of building the beloved community, to be a person of intention and a person of conscience. Ashe, blessed be, may it ever be so. Thank you.
Lovely as ever, Bill. Thank you. Just a few announcements before coffee hour. If you are new to All Souls and want to know more about our faith community, please stop by the welcome table. Lynn Tavermina is right there waving, and Lynn will be there to greet you and answer your questions. Sharing Circle today is in the Vale Library, and the topic is today's sermon, so get your coffee and go to the Vale Library if you'd like to join Sharing Circle. The fall Sharing Circle sign-ups are also today in the hallway and on October 2nd. Parents, please pick up your pre-K to 8th grade children from the Peace Garden and nursery from children from the Barton Room. And we're just going to wave goodbye to the folks in the online pews as we end our service and gather for coffee.